There's definitely a difference between players that played in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s versus the players that have played in the 90s and the 2000s and the players we have playing today. When you watch them swing, what stands out the most to you? When I look at the old players swing, I see a certain type of strength that definitely is not in the players today. Now, I don't say that in a negative way or taking anything away from the players of today. I see it. And I see a difference in the swing. And I think it comes down to, equipment. I know the equipment in the older days was heavier, and the equipment nowadays is a little bit lighter. But I think it also has to do with a generation. I mean, you think the players in the 50s, 60s, and the 70s, their parents and their parents' parents built America. I mean, these were the people that were literally building our railroads. I mean, building our cities, fighting in the wars. I mean, a lot of these players had parents that went through the Depression. And so, of course, you're going to see a different type of grit, and a different type of spirit, and a different type of strength. And, I really love that about the old swing. I really love that about the old school. When you take into consideration Tiger Woods, who came out and just was a whole nother level. Now you've got the new school. And you've got this new group of players where you can see their generation. And now their parents were brought up in a time when things were, there was still a lot of turmoil and chaos for sure, but it was, relatively good times. And you've got these kids now, and you look at their swings, they've got lighter equipment, it's more upright. I mean, just look at their bodies. They look like little bodybuilders out there. And back in the old days, you would mistake the old guys for farmers out there playing. And so as you watch these young guys, the new schoolers swing, you also can see the element of instruction that comes along with that. And I've found throughout my playing career and my teaching career that I was searching for something that wasn't to be found. And it's because it was forgotten. It was a necessity in the old school, and it wasn't needed in the new school. But it doesn't mean that it still isn't a necessity. I've brought back a fundamental that hasn't been talked about or focused on, I think probably for a couple decades for sure. It's all about bringing back style and smoothness, where you're going to see guys walk into the ball just like they used to in the old school, but with a little bit of new school attitude. I once had a teacher tell me the golf swing's from here down, right here. Be so easy, right? Be so easy. That club here, and just bang. So imagine getting a little 7-iron coming up, setting up, and bringing it back to here, to right there, and then going, okay, I'm loaded. And then just turning with everything. Bang. Better. I tried playing this game for a living, and my whole life was based on if I was going to get status and be able to stay in the United States. So it really mattered to me. It didn't just matter to me like, oh, it'd be cool if I make it. It was like, my life's over if I don't make it, and I've worked my whole life to even have a chance to fail. So it really mattered to me, and the fact that all I could get was just try to get in this position, go. And if you listen to my stories and podcasts on the rigs, that's where I eventually got on the rigs, where all of a sudden I could just grab those tongs and just get them on the pipe and just ram them, just like that, and get in there. Well, it took a long time for me to get that. It was, these are heavy, and getting yelled at to where, wham! And to this day, because I developed those muscles, I could walk onto a rig and grab them and just throw them on that pipe. And anyone that's worked on a rig, whack, they know what that move means. I went outside and I'm looking in the mirror, and I remember getting to a point where I would feel the club set. And as I'd start to turn, I'd feel it drop back into here, and it'd make this noise. And so this is what was happening. I didn't know what was happening. This is what was happening. So I was here, was coming back, the club was just completely relaxing there, and because I was so relaxed, that weight would pull me here, and then right there, this move where it was, and I remember feeling it was almost like, it's like the club was floating this way, and just like, it would just turn the corner so hard, and I started just, I wasn't hearing the club head swoosh, I was hearing the whole entire club swoosh. I was hearing the whole shaft. And I just there. So I was like, I'm just gonna swing really smooth so I don't make a fool of myself, and I just went, and it just flew out there. Never hit a shot like that. Never felt a shot like that. And then you do 3 sets of 15 where you're dragging it. When I would drag it, you want to get to the point to where you're able to make that shaft flex with one arm. And if you can get to where you can flex that shaft on the ground with one arm, how much control do you think you'll have of this club hitting a golf shot? When it comes right down to it, the part of the golf swing that I think's been greatly overlooked, at least for the last 2 decades for sure, maybe even 3 decades, is simply just from the elbows down. Now you got to understand that when you strengthen the hands and the fingers, that the muscles connected to them go right into the core of the body. And you think of it as an art form. I mean, think of a ballerina. Think of how much effort and time goes in to the strength of a ballerina and how she dances, or someone that plays the guitar, or someone that plays the violin, or someone that plays the piano. You got to understand that the golf instruction of modern day is teaching you a position to get to, which of course you're going to hit that position sometime during the swing, but that should not be the focus. The focus is always the intent or the target. And by training and giving yourself the strength you need to be able to handle the torques and pressures that the weight of the golf club is going to put on your body, to be able to allow you to get the ball to the target. And so in this strength training program, it's nothing complicated. It's very basic, but it takes you through a very systematic way to build from the very bottom, line upon line, precept upon precept, and to start building that strength up to where you're not skipping any of the steps, to where you can truly start to make your golf swing an art form.